Welcome to Countdown to Infinity, a Marvel's Avengers podcast. We talk all things Marvel Cinematic Universe, including the TV shows on Disney Plus, and we are going. We are smack dab in the middle of our She-Hulk episode by episode recap.
Yeah.
We are on episode 7, The Retreat. Only 2 more in the series. I've really been enjoying the show.
Me too.
Before we discuss the show, though, just a disclaimer, we are testing out some new equipment. It's like smaller, is what I'll say. It's like snazzier, I guess, right? It's got buttons.
Sure.
I can do
It
things.
has buttons. It
Look at
has
this.
lights. It has wires.
Oh, shit. Did I break it? I was going to play a sound. It's got sometimes play sound effects. Oh, wait. No, that's... Here we go.
Here we go. Oh,
There we go.
thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
But part of the new equipment is a buzz that may be there or may not be when you listen to this.
It's a mystery.
So we apologize if you are hearing it. It's because we're trying this out for our live studio audience.
Thank you. Yes.
Hard stop.
Very
We tell them to stop very quickly.
Very supportive.
My name is Emmanuel,
My name is Sophia.
and we're excited to talk about She-Hulk.
Yes, we are, of course.
This is, I mean, what do you think about? Well, let me discuss briefly what happens on this episode. Jen finds herself in I wouldn't say in love. You
No.
think she's in love?
No, maybe infatuated.
Infatuated with Josh, somebody that she met from Lulu's wedding in the last episode.
And just as I thought,
No, wait, hold on. They go on a couple dates. They honestly really cute dates in the montage in the beginning of
they
this.
have a cute little gazebo scene at the beginning.
Yeah, they go
of
out
when
to
they all go
shops.
out.
Yeah, they
and
kiss.
oh God.
And then he leaves and might have ghosted her for a couple of days. And then Jen has to check up on Emil Blonsky, aka the former Abomination.
But you have to mention when he ghosts her right before they sleep together.
Yes, they do a little more than kissy.
They sleep together.
They if you're explaining this to a kid, they give an adult hug.
They're wrestling.
Yes. And of course, Jen is just Jen. She's not She-Hulk during this whole period of dates. But then she has to check along with the parole officer on Emil Blonsky, where she gets her Prius damaged.
Yes.
By Manbull and El Aguila, who are new. I guess they are somewhat heroes, but also mutants.
Yes.
That are there in the retreat with Emil. We also meet Porcupine and Saracen, a vampire. And she really has some kind of existential realizations. And then, of course, we find out at the very end that Josh is not everything that she has, I guess, built him up to be, but also he's just kind of an evil guy.
Or that we thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
Just as I thought.
We were hoping.
Trash.
We were hoping.
We were.
But, yeah. Well, Sophia, what did you think about this episode?
I think it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. This sucks. I mean, I was hoping it wasn't going to be what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But it ended up being what we thought it was going to be anyway. And that sucks for Jen because I don't want her to lose hope. While we were watching this episode, we kind of had this conversation about like what this means for the character She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Like how I don't want, I think we actually mentioned this too on a previous pod. I don't want Jen to go through this series and feel like she needs to be She-Hulk the whole time, just like the comics, because I don't want that for her, and I don't want that for any younger audience members who may be watching this slightly inappropriate show for them because they're a younger audience member. But either way, like I don't want that message. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, I appreciate that.
And they stopped quickly.
I don't want. Well, I raised my hand, so that's fine. But I just don't want that for future Marvel fans.
I do feel this episode goes a long way in maybe dissuading that fear of yours.
Yes.
Because it deals with it in a I would say a very modern way.
A very positive way.
Considering that She-Hulk has been around in the 80s and 90s, where it seems like this choice is a much different choice for her. And then the fact that, I mean, it's well chronicled. The people making She-Hulk were creepy. So you can assume what the comic book was. And it was very somewhat, I would say, bad. the way that She-Hulk's portrayed in the comic books a lot, as like a sex symbol just because. And so I think that there's
You don't say.
No, yeah.
A female superhero being a sex symbol?
So I appreciate that, especially the way they do it here. Well, let's talk about The Retreat.
Yes.
What do you think about The Retreat? Emil Blonsky has a supportive environment for, I think, superheroes, and we now know mutants and vampires.
Anybody with any special set of skills, I guess.
So it's kind of a place for them to decompress and have these conversations, including someone that has attacked She-Hulk.
Yes, and also everybody's very open. And there's not really much judgment. I won't say no judgment, but there's it's just a big open space. It's like a big old hug, and the characters we kind of fall in love with them very quickly. I feel,
especially Man-Bull.
Yes.
Porcupine. Porcupine's
I
funny.
love Porcupine. A lot of humor in this ep.
Yeah, there's a lot of really fun side characters, all that exist in the comic books. Eliguila is really good too, who we find out was like a matador in college, which we see like in the post
in the
credits thing or the credits. But it is kind of interesting to know that the world is filled with these types of characters, I guess. Like we've got mutants,
of course,
and we for sure have mutants.
We knew that,
and they are dealing with all kinds of stuff too. And I think the Retreat kind of served a good balance between something really serious, which is self-actualization and maybe closure for a relationship that she
anger issues,
like all of that.
There's a lot,
but it was also mixed with a lot of lighthearted humor, and it can be very dangerous, I think, to have both of those things and not do it well, and just to have something where like, oh, these people are all crazy and dumb,
Yes, and
but
also
instead it's very sweet.
Yeah, and it wasn't making fun of being able to talk to others openly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because like sometimes it all becomes one big joke, and it's not.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes... I really enjoyed this episode. I think that's what makes it really special, because Jen does have that moment of realization that she, as Jen, is also just as important.
Just as valued.
Just as valued, because she is struggling with it. I mean, for sure struggling with it.
Yes.
Times 10 in this episode. I also want to bring up the fact that she, I believe, has been nominated or won a Female Lawyer of the Year. That's kind of
she was
alluded to.
nominated, yes.
She was nominated.
Yes.
And so I think that is going... I mean,
That's
we just got a little
huge.
bit of it here, but that feels very finale to me. Doesn't it? Like a gala where she has to attend a She-Hulk. Maybe she goes back. But like that, I think, is setting the stage for what could be like a Titania coming back or finding out who the actual evil person is.
Yes.
Because it's not Josh. I don't think Josh is the main villain.
No, he sends all the information to someone.
Yeah, Hulk King is, I think, his like...
Yep.
online intelligentsia sleeper cell username, whatever. And there's some pretty interesting rumors of that. But let's stick to The Retreat, I guess. Anything else that you kind of really liked from that moment?
I do like when Jen lets her guard down, because she is the type of person that deflects with humor or sarcasm. You know what I mean? Like she, as Jen, feels the need to like make fun of whatever the situation is, and also like, oh, I'm too good for this, or oh, I don't need this right now, or oh, I don't do that. Like she's very stubborn. But in the group, like she realizes that she is obsessing over her phone because Josh, in this context, has not messaged her in the few days that they have sped apart from sleeping together. But I feel like that, as a whole thing for her, that's huge, because she's not one to accept things like that, and she's not one to admit when she's wrong or to just like let her guard down, because she's always on the defense. But now it's like, oh, well, now it's like, I mean, aside from like her best friend and everything, but now she was able to do that, and with the most unlikely of people too. Yeah, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, and I mean the group leader's Emil Blansk, who is Abomination, and I like how he acts in this, I guess, is like he's very laid
he's
back.
Come full circle, bro. He loves love.
Yeah.
And healing, and just being, he's such a cool presence.
And so different. I mean, I think we were watching this and I was like, so different from who he is in the Hulk. Tim Roth is having a great time playing him in a very kind of I mean, I keep saying laid back, but it's like a role
Super
that he
chill.
doesn't normally play. Because Tim Roth always plays a very intense, not, somewhat evil character a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
And here he's very supportive of everyone in the group.
Yeah.
He's kind of, in some moments he's annoyed, but he's never like angry.
Yeah, he seems very sincere too.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't think that there's anything behind his actions. It's just him trying to legitimately heal and have others heal too.
Very cool to have him back too. Like, I know he was in a couple episodes in the beginning, but it seems like he's going to be a very important part of this.
Well, he's a client.
And I wouldn't be surprised
What?
if there's a moment towards the end of we don't know who there's a lot of theories we'll talk about, but if there is a finale that so far the MCU is like 8 for 8, every single finale is a big fight scene.
Yeah.
But there may be a moment where we see this super villain support group, including Emil Blonsky back helping her. And I wouldn't be surprised either if he is somewhat a hero in the series where he turns into
true.
Abomination,
the Abomination, yeah.
breaking his parole, but to help out, in a way.
Oh, that'd be nice.
But, he'd go back to jail.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to happen. And I'm just like, this is, of course, theorizing things that are not proven or anything, but...
Or even if he does go back to jail, it'll be justified, like,
Yeah.
through his actions. Like, hey, look at what he did. Maybe
I think that'd be
should reconsider.
Just in the same way, I feel like we haven't seen The Last of Titania, Like,
Yes.
all of that is, at least for the show, you've got these characters you assume are going to be back. And then let's talk about we're on, like, Daredevil alert.
I know.
Only 2 episodes left, still no Daredevil.
What is happening? We asked for it, and they did not deliver.
And they show him in the trailer. They show his cowl.
I know. And it's still not here. What is going on?
I mean, if this is going to end with just a teaser for Daredevil, I question why it was, like, promoted in the...
All of it since day
yeah.
one. Since day one, we had like on social media, everyone was like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, Daredevil's in the trailer. Daredevil, scene is shown or
so
whatever.
What is up with this?
I mean, I'm cool with how much She-Hulk we have. I just feel like that's a big old distraction that they kind of put on themselves,
and it's constantly on our radar.
Yeah.
So
we're looking forward to that. And the other thing is, I want to talk about this. This is a theory. Okay. There's a character in the comic books called the Leader, played by Tim Blake Nelson. If you have seen the Hulk with Edward Norton, that is in the MCU technically. Tim Blake Nelson plays the scientist that kind of creates the whole Hulk thing, and he is confirmed to be in the Captain America sequel, Captain America: New World Order.
Ooh.
So, he's a big Hulk character, is the way I'll put it. So it'll be interesting to know whether we're going to meet him or someone else, but somebody who is pulling the strings in and specifically looking for the Hulk type powers or people who are connected to the Hulk. So yeah, that's going to be really interesting whether it's going to be in this episode because he, kind of creates the Hulk. Period.
The following up,
so it's going to be interesting whether he's going to come back to do anything with that because he's going to go fight Captain America at some point.
And we saw that we were in a lab for a second in the previous set, not this set, but the previous set.
And his character Samuel Stearns is a scientist because he was in a lab when he created the serum.
Yeah.
So it's a theory. It's out there, but it becomes even more. I guess like a founded theory just because they announced he's going to be in a movie coming up. So, at some point we got to, unless they're just going to throw him in that movie alone,
which is also totally possible.
Yeah, they could be laying some groundwork here, but
it would be nice if things were connected.
Yeah, it would be nice. So do you feel from this episode that Jen and She-Hulk are in a good place mentally? Like, is this the emotional finale, you think, of the show?
I think She-Hulk is always in a good place mentally. Like, she ain't got no worries except
for killed,
fighting bad guys. Yeah. Jen, however, I think has come to terms with some things or is now aware of some things that maybe she wasn't about herself from before. Also, I think that she has a great support system, one in this retreat group, but also like in her friends now. And
back at work.
Yeah, like when she's not relying on them, she can rely on others, so it's kind of like broadening her horizons a little bit with that.
And then Nikki is at work, but also Bruce Banner's her cousin, and she does have a family, They're
yeah,
there.
of course. Yeah, we saw them.
They exist.
Yeah. So I think that that's just an important thing for her to be aware of. Also, I think that she doesn't necessarily need to focus on dating the way that she did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't need to, because she went in hard, like
Yeah.
hard on Josh.
Yeah, I mean, we got 3 episodes of her trying to find love before Josh.
Yes, but I'm saying like in the montage, we were on date like what 3.
Yeah.
Maybe, and then that's when she was like, "Hey, come on in," you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe just maybe just slowing it down a little bit, you know. You don't gotta be, because now she was really, really again into her phone and making sure like what is going on, like looking for service all around the retreat and trying to like obsess about it. And it's like, no, girlfriend, like you gotta take a deep breath, back it on up. Remember, there's other things in the world for a second. So I think that's another place that she can be.
Yeah, and at the end of this episode, her Prius is getting towed.
Yeah.
Thank you for saving the planet, Jen. Thank you for working on that.
It's a Prius Plus.
With your Prius, yeah.
Product placement for them.
And I want people to know I used to have a Prius.
Okay.
For years.
Mm-hmm.
So I also
What happened to it?
I felt I had done it all I could for the planet.
And then you just traded it in for...
I need more space, and I need a big fat luxury SUV gas guzzler, baby.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But while her Prius was being taken,
Prius Plus
was being taken, and she's in kind of the front seat of the tow truck. You know, we get this big wide shot of the ocean and the Pacific Coast Highway, and it sort of feels cathartic for her. She kind of takes a deep breath, and it kind of gives her, you know, that moment of clarity.
It's gorgeous.
Now, what she does with that, I don't know. She's got a gala to go to and some people to fight. We assume, but yeah. I mean, this is one of my favorite apps just because of all the stuff that we were talking about already.
Hey, we love mental health here.
We love it.
We love it.
And I like that everyone is discussing it very openly, and like there's kind of fearless honesty.
Yeah.
There's a lot of vulnerability that's happening, and it's I don't think we've seen this in the MCU yet. And
I think we have with Wanda.
In a healthy way, yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, because they're like the realization part of it, not necessarily like the.
But in a way, though, I think multiverse kind of not undid it, but it turned it around.
Yeah, it was that was really emotional for her too. Yeah.
But there are, I mean, Wanda's a great example. But there are everyone in the MCU needs a support group.
Strange,
quite honestly.
Doctor Strange with
Strange
Rachel.
Needs it, yeah.
Hello.
I mean, if we're talking
Iron Man
it's too late for him.
I know, but over like a span of like 7-8 films. You know what I'm saying?
Iron Man 3 was about PTSD.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty heavy thing, like going to battle and coming back and, trying to figure it out.
Yes.
Peter Parker, nobody knows he existed.
That's true.
That'll mess you up,
sacrifice, man.
And like the amount of times that, he would like for people to know.
Right.
But they don't. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well,
we're diving in.
They all need to visit Emil's retreat. Go to his yurt.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah. This whole episode kind of takes place over like 4 days. A lot of the dates are kind of back to back to back, and she spends one day at this retreat. Really?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, it's.
Can you imagine a weekend retreat? Oh my gosh.
We also don't really, and I'm fine with it because we don't need to really dive too deep into this, but we don't really understand even like how or if these villains are there, like if it's court mandated. If they just show up, Saracen is straight up drinking people's blood. So like,
that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Probably, yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Like whether it's voluntary, involuntary, it's nice that they're all there. I'm also excited about Saracen because he's a straight up vampire, and we know there's a Blade movie coming out, and we're now
true.
like, oh yeah, there's vampires, and I guess even with Manbull, he is a straight up mutant. He's not
there's
from another
no
planet.
way around
this
it. Yeah.
A change here, so I'm really excited. About kind of this support group. Kind of shows all the different things in the MCU.
Did you have a favorite side character, a little villain?
Manbull's really funny. I think Manbull, in just his reaction and even silently, his
codependency,
all that stuff, I think is really funny. At least for comedy. But yeah, he was my favorite. Do you have one?
I like Porcupine a lot.
Yeah.
I think that he was really showing vulnerability when taking off his mask, even though it was disgusting. Yeah. But hey, man, if you've never taken it off, that's a huge step.
Yeah.
Like massive. And I think he was really funny. Very sassy. I love it. So,
yeah. Good. I wonder if we're gonna see more of this.
I like the writing a lot.
Yeah, it's really good.
It was really funny. A lot of banter.
Well, let's talk about the future. I mean, there's a gala that she's gonna go to. We know that's in the books. We're gonna probably find out who is pulling the strings.
We need to talk about Josh
behind the incel and the Josh. I mean, awful guy. Who's pulling the strings there. We know Daredevil's coming up at some point. And there's a lot that we still don't know, but
I mean, maybe, damn.
What are you looking forward to the most?
So I am looking forward to definitely Josh and any repercussions that may come, because I hated watching him wake up next to her in the middle of the night and he took a picture of her sleeping, which I thought was insane. Like,
yeah,
why?
He's gonna post that onto that message board.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Intelligentsia is gonna see everything. Also, he stole information from her phone, I think is what happened. Like, you definitely see something going on with that. And he sends Hulk King a picture of a needle, or an emoji of a needle, and then the little like smiley face, I think it was, right? And so, like, why? Like, did he inject something in her? I didn't see that. They didn't show that. But like, what, did he get some of her DNA? Like, what does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah. It's there, you're right. There's a lot of blood talk in this, even from Saracen, you remember?
That's true.
He was like, maybe he just wants to suck your blood. At first, he said something like that. Something about blood. And
No, he wants to suck his blood. He's like, no, we're all going to go after Josh. I love that part too.
I wonder if you could even get a needle into She-Hulk, because the part of this is the subconscious. It's like Jekyll and Hyde, where in the comic books, like, the Hulk tries to. This is gonna be really fucked up, everyone. But he tries to kill himself, but he just automatically turns into the Hulk because the Hulk won't let him. So even when she's not paying attention,
She-Hulk is still there.
Yeah, and we saw that earlier with the fight. So I'm interested what the point is. I mean, he does copy her phone, so I mean, there's a lot there. But I don't know. Maybe her movements.
I don't know.
Where she's going.
That's true, like a tracking device thing. But it's just really so disappointed.
Yeah.
And you know what? When this episode first started to end, because she's like looking off into the distance, and I was like, what? Like, we don't get to figure it out. And then it's like, boom.
Yeah.
3 days earlier, I was like, my heart dropped to my butt. I knew that I was going to see him just taken off. Oh, gosh, it was so awful.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if Josh comes back into the picture,
I hope that he's part of that fight, and I hope that she gets to just punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Or in the butt, or in the balls. I don't know. I just want something.
There's definitely a lot to look forward to.
This is not fair. I do also want to see Titania again. I think that would be cool. If Josh is Titania's like boy toy or something, I'm gonna
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it's not even hard to imagine that she is part of the group,
not at all.
Intelligentsia or whatever.
No.
Like, that's in the realms of possibility. It's definitely possible.
Gosh.
But we'll find out, because we only got a couple episodes left. I assume the gala is next week.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of resolution happening on the very final ep. But this was such a good episode, I think.
I agree.
I love it because it kind of, in a 30-minute, very efficient comedy style, because it is very funny still.
This is really funny, yeah.
It gives us not a lot of courtroom happening in this, so it's not a case, but it is a lot that's happening that gives us, really important stuff for Jen's journey, I think, and She-Hulk's journey.
Yeah.
So, very good. And well written. Like, I'll say that.
Oh, for sure.
Well written. Most of it happens around the therapy.
Yeah.
But it's really well written. We've come to the end of this ep.
Oh.
So it's time to give some plugs. Sophia, what do you have to plug?
Just the same old things. Thank you so much again for listening to us and for supporting us. And if you want to support us even further, you sure can. All of the other Dolphin Pod shows are available on Dolphin Pod, and also you can, if you want to do it, take a step even further, you can go to Patreon, patreon.com/dolphinpod, DELFINPOD. And every contribution obviously comes back to the pod, so thank you so much for those who are already contributing. We really appreciate it. And if you want to follow me on any of my socials, you sure can. Everything's going to be at _simply Sophie, SOFIEE.
Faux. show, listen to all of the Dolphin Pod podcasts. By now, I believe Revenge of the Sequel is back for another season. All horror films, all werewolves. So that'll be really, really fun and exciting.
I was going to put the audience on, but it's okay.
Oh, yes. Hold on. Oh, shoot, wrong one. There we go. Very happy. But thanks so much for listening. You'll hear us next week again.
Bye.
Bye.